Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. I am going to be making you one of my family's favorite meals. It is a shepherd's pie, done a little bit differently than traditional with the vegetables that are used in it. We are not huge fans of cooked peas and carrots, so I found a recipe one time that used different veggies. And that's kind of the way we like to have it now. In the pan here, I'm browning up, hopefully I'm not steaming you guys up, I'm browning up about 2 pounds of 80/20 hamburger. I'm going to have to drain it a little bit. It's a little bit fattier than what I like, but it'll work out okay. I'm going to just drain off all the excess. And I've got the oven heating to 450 degrees, and you will also need a pot of potatoes, which I've already started. They're going to take me a little bit of time to get done. This meat is getting done quicker than I thought it was going to. That's kind of why I pre-started it. Let me put a little pinch of salt in there. I already salted it a little bit, but I needed to add just a tad bit more. And I think this is just about done. So let me go ahead and get this drained, and I will start the vegetables. Alright guys, I am back. We are going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into our pan. I'm just using the exact same pan I had the hamburger in. And to that we're going to add 2 ribs of celery, 1 small yellow pepper, 1 small red pepper. I have half of a large sweet onion and half of a white onion. And I'm just going to add all that straight in and saute these up. We just want them to soften. We don't want them to cook all the way down, because this is going to be going in the oven and to finish cooking. So these will probably take a good 4 or 5 minutes. We're also going to need about a half to 3/4 of a cup of sliced mushrooms. My local store, their mushrooms didn't look that good, so I did not get any, but I just recently made my own home canned mushrooms that I'm going to be adding in, but because they're already cooked, I don't want to add them in until this is all done. They don't need to be heated through, since this is going to be going into the oven. Alright guys, I'm going to let this simmer and cook for about 4 to 5 minutes, and I will bring you back when this is ready. Okay, it's been about 2.5 to 3 minutes, and now I'm going to add in 2 cloves of minced garlic. I don't like to add it in too soon because it ends up burning. And we just kind of need it to start releasing its flavor. Get in there. Let me turn it down just a tad. Get that mixed in really good, and then we'll let this finish sauteing. This point is when I would normally add my mushrooms, because they don't take as long as the rest of the vegetables do. And I am going to go ahead and add these now, and because these are the vegetables. The vegetables are just about done. A little tongue-tied today, you'll have to excuse me. just need to let these kind of warm a little bit. We don't want to put them into the oven cold. And I think that is pretty much going to be it for right now. The vegetables have softened up. The onions are starting to turn translucent. We still want them to have a little bit of texture. So let me get my heat off. Let me bring over, I can do this over here, probably not. I'm going to add them on top of the hamburger that I have in my jar here, or my quart dish, not my jar. See if we can get that back there. And we will move on to making the gravy for this. I can do it this way. I don't typically work over on this side of the kitchen like this, but I thought it would be better than trying to move you guys all around the place. I don't know, I may need a bigger dish. Either that or this one's gonna go over the edge. That's probably about all I'm going to get in there. I will save the rest of this for something different. Let me get that out of our way. Let me move this out of our way for right now. 4 tablespoons of butter. We'll let that melt down. All right, I had to grab my whisk. And we're also going to need 4 tablespoons of flour. You can use either Wonder Flour, which is what I'm using today, or you can use just regular all-purpose flour. Either one works just as well. Let me check on our potatoes here. Steam is hot. Almost. I think by the time the gravy is done, we should be able to pull the potatoes off. I didn't get all the paper off of it. There we go. Let me help this along a little bit. Over there. Alright, let me get my heat back on. And we just want to cook this until can I do it this way? I don't know. Maybe. Kind of overfilled the jar a little bit. Wonder Flour is pretty much all-purpose flour that's been ground really fine, which means it's going to cook smoother. You're not going to end up with lumps and stuff that you might get with an all-purpose flour. If I can find it, I grab it and use it. And we just want to let this cook for just a few minutes just to get that raw flour taste out. And to this we're going to add 2 cups of either beef broth or chicken broth, whichever one you have on hand. Today I'm going to be using beef broth because I just canned up a huge batch of beef bone broth. That looks pretty good. Whoop. And in goes our broth. Don't want to let that sit too long when you pour in your liquids, because then you have a tendency for your flour to clump up, and it gets really hard to work those lumps out. But I find, like with the Wonder Flour, it doesn't tend to do that. Now we just want to let this cook and thicken up a little bit. I'm also going to add into this a little bit of black pepper. Not too much. Just season it to taste. And I'm also going to add in a good pinch of salt. I did not salt this when I was making the beef broth, so I know it's going to need it. And now, ouch, now we burn ourselves. Be careful when you're stirring. You don't want to get this splashed up on you. It's really hot. We just need to gently whisk until it thickens up. I would say you don't need to whisk continuously, but if you don't kind of keep your gravy moving, the flour has a tendency to start separating and sticking to the bottom, and you don't want that. And this takes very little time to come together. This is kind of a really good midweek meal to do. The thing that takes up the most time really is just getting the vegetables chopped up. And this is almost done. It's starting to thicken up nicely. This whisk is having a little bit of resistance down in the gravy. Give it another minute here. Let me check our potatoes one more time. Yeah, most of that's done. Get one of the bigger slices here. I tried to slice them all evenly. Yeah, those are done as well. So let me get these drained. Okay, let's finish getting this assembled. I will have to move you over to my island, so if you give me just a minute, I will get you guys set up over there. Okay, this is the casserole dish that has the hamburger in the bottom, the vegetables over the top, and let me grab the gravy here real quick, and my spatula. Give this one last stir. And then this just gets poured right over the top. And that will sink down in. We might need to encourage it to do so. Whoa, that got really white, and I'm sorry. Whoop, I'm getting it everywhere here. I'm just going to slowly encourage the gravy to go down so we still have room for the potatoes on top. Oh, and I forgot to show that I put in 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce into the gravy right before we poured it over the top. I apologize. I got a little ahead of myself. There we go. That looks good. Alright, let's get our mashed potatoes made. Let me move this out of my way. So I'm going to put back in the pot I boiled the potatoes in. But before I put the potatoes in, I'm going to dump in 1 brick of cream cheese. There we go. Get this out of the way. Bring my potatoes back over. These are going to go straight back in on top. Come on. Maybe. And I'm just going to mash these all together. I also need to add, I added salt to the water when I cooked the potatoes so that they could get that salty goodness flavor up inside of them. Let me grab a little bit of black pepper for these. And I also need some sour cream. Now, if you do not like cream cheese, feel free to leave it out. Just substitute either a little bit more sour cream for it, or a little bit of milk and butter, or however you prefer to make your mashed potatoes. Make sure I get into the corners really good here. And now the sour cream. And I don't know how much I put in. I just kind of wing it and see how much they need. I think actually that looks pretty good right there. So let me get a spoon. There we go. Get these stirred in out of the corners. I think that's pretty good. Alright, let me grab our base. And let me move this out of the way. And let's get this topped and in the oven. Oh, I think we have plenty of room here. And this is going to bake at 450 for about 30 to 35 minutes. Till the top starts getting a little crusty on top and starts to brown, and the base gets all nice and bubbly. So while I'm doing this, let me talk about the collaboration that Japik and I have with our cooking playlists. We would like to get kind of everybody in our community involved in cooking and showing off what you guys like to eat by doing your very own cooking videos and letting us add them into the playlist so everybody can share in what we as a gaming community kind of like to eat. And so if you guys have any cooking videos that you would like to share with us, let us know. You can get a hold of either Japik or myself. You can leave a link to your video in the comment section of this video or in one of Japik's. Alright guys, I think I've got all the potatoes that I'm going to be able to fit on here. And kind of what I did was just took the spoon and just kind of dabbed it in to pull up a little bit of a peak for them, so they can kind of get a little browned and crispy. There we go. That tastes good too. Alright, so let me get this over into the oven and we will get it baked up for 30 to 35 minutes, again on 450. And I will see you when that's done. Alright guys, we are back. Excuse me. This was in the oven for 30 minutes, and I let it sit on the stove for another probably 20-25 minutes just so it can start to cool down and it could all like come together, so when we take it out it should kind of hold its shape a little bit instead of just kind of falling apart on the plate. Let's get into it. It smells really, really good. I think it looks really good. Let me grab my plate here. Hopefully everything will come out okay. There we go. Probably should have tried to use a spatula instead of a spoon, but there. Should have thought ahead a little bit more on that one. Alright, there we go. Let me pull that out of our way. And I thought I fixed the glare, but apparently I didn't. I apologize for that. But here we go. Shepherd's pie, kind of the way my family likes it. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys try it. If you do, leave me a message down in the comment section telling me what you think of it. Remember, if you guys would like to get your videos added into the playlist that Death and I are doing, leave me a link or a comment down below to your video, and I will go and check it out and get it added to the list. Again, we're asking for our YouTube family and friends to come together and cook with us and share what you guys like to eat. The link to the playlist will be down below if you guys would like to go and check out some of the videos already on there. There's some from Lord Runyoff and Flying Unicycle, as well as Japik and myself. So with that, I think I will say thank you for joining me. Hope you guys have a great day. I've been Vault Girl, and I hope to see you in the next one.